Let's talk about why most car dealers hate EVs. And when I say most, I'm talking about the majority. I hear from them, I watch what they're saying, I read what they're saying, I hear about back channel stuff, and the vast majority of car dealers do not like electric vehicles. And so the question is, why? Well, there's a couple reasons. The biggest one is it's a perceived threat to their business model. I mean, Tesla has been eating the lunch of car dealers. They're wildly profitable. They're the #1 selling car in the world, the Model Y last month. And so they've come in and totally shaken up the business, going direct to consumer, their production process to make cars more cheaply. Their technology is way ahead of everybody else. So all EVs are kind of lumped into that. But the reality is if they were able to make money consistently after buying and selling EVs on their lot, they would be a fan. And so this is the interesting part. The demand hasn't been there consistently for alternative brands to Tesla. So if you're selling anything other than Tesla, which is every dealer, because you can't sell Teslas new, in an inferior position theoretically. I'll tell you why I don't think that that's true. But you're being forced to carry inventory, or in some cases you purchase used inventory, and I'll get to that in a moment, is another reason why they don't like them. And that stuff's not moving very fast. Your salespeople, they don't like them. They don't want to learn about 1 or 2 new vehicles, that especially if they're not flying off the shelves. So it's a pain for them. You have a perception of not as much service, although there's some really interesting research that's come out lately that shows that the service for EVs, because people are required or want to go to an expert, and it's more labor intensive than part intensive, and labor is more profitable, that it's actually a mistake that they're potentially making. But anyway, the perception is because they don't need as much service, which they don't, they can't make as much money. But if they come to an expert and they need extra help because it's labor involved, the service department of an EV dealership can actually be very profitable. And so that's where companies like us, like EV Auto, come in. People want an expert. They want somebody that knows a lot about them. And right now there really isn't anybody out there. And these dealers, they don't want to shift, they don't want to change, especially if they're not making money, which brings me to the other reason why they don't like them. Used EVs have incredible price volatility. New ones do too. Why? Because Tesla lowers prices and has total control over the price of the market. So dealer after dealer after dealer had a lot of inventory going into even a few months ago that Tesla lowered their prices, and their inventory overnight was worth way less. And if they were selling other brands, all of a sudden they're trying to compete with these companies, with Tesla, to sell their cars for way more money. When Teslas have longer batteries and supercharging networks and better self-driving. And so, yeah, I mean, you'd be very skittish and nervous to have a bunch of inventory that gets devalued quickly and you can't do much about, and you're being forced to sell. So I get it. I don't get, and what I'm actually potentially grateful for, is why they won't commit some portion of their business to getting really good at this, to really understanding it, to really embracing it, because the new car models, they're coming. They're getting produced. They're going to be in the market. The charging networks, they're going to grow rapidly. The battery efficiencies, they're going to increase dramatically. The prices, they're going to go down. And so over time, and the growth, if you look at the growth, everybody's like, oh, they're not growing nearly as fast and demand isn't nearly as high. And that's true for the aggressive comparisons, but the growth rate, 3, 4, 5% from last year to this year, and the continued growth, yeah, they're not going to get to the majority of new cars sold for a while, but we're talking hundreds of thousands and then millions of customers that are going to want to buy these from somebody. And so they're going to keep shunning them, pushing them away, getting rid of them, not wanting them because it's a threat to their business model. They've lost some money. They might lose more money. Heck, I might lose money. Maybe I'm an idiot for getting into this, but it's not a reason to shun the market. But that, my friends, is the reason why they do. So I hope that's helpful in educating you why most dealers don't like EVs.